Welcome back. My name's Sebastian, and today we're going to be talking about style. Today's subject is of the utmost importance, which is why I've moved us into the office, thrown on a blazer, I'm sitting at a desk, there's sweatpants on under the desk, and I'm going to be doing this a lot with my fingers to show you how important this subject is. What is the subject? Personal style. And why is it so important? Because without personal style, you're just aimlessly shopping. You're throwing away a lot of time, you're throwing away a lot of money. Now, there's a misconception. People think that personal style means being the most uniquely dressed person on the planet. I don't think that's true. You really think I'm the first guy who invented wearing dark colors and way too deep scoop neck t-shirts? No, plenty have done that before me, plenty have walked these paths. If you find a well-trod path that you like, that is perfectly acceptable. The main goal here is not to be spending your entire life paying attention to what everyone else is wearing so that you can wear something different. No, if you love being unique and you want to invest tons and tons of time and money into that and having something that nobody else has, that's fine, that's respectable. But for the vast majority of us, there's going to be a lot of other people in the world who dress the way we do. But the point is, you want to dress intentionally. You want to have some personal sense of how you get dressed. So that way you know, even before you go to the mall or before you go online, what it is you're looking for and how that will contribute to an overall vibe that you're creating year after year, month after month. And this vibe can evolve, by the way. It doesn't have to be stagnant, but the point is there's a purpose. There's more of a slow evolution. You're not just getting shiny object syndrome, jumping from lily pad to lily pad at every new trend that comes by and throwing fistfuls of your money at corporations. So the best part about having personal style, aside from it being great for the planet, great for your bank account, and great for looking good overall, is that you're actually building something and you get the satisfaction of being able to look back at photos of yourself and see the progression and see yourself building towards something that feels more and more like you versus just looking back at photos and saying, oh look, I was wearing exactly what everyone else was wearing in 2018, 2019, 2020, and by the way, I spent all this money doing it. It's just a more peaceful, fulfilling relationship to have with your clothes, and I can tell you that it feels great going to my closet in the morning and looking at my clothes and knowing that pretty much everything works well together because it's all part of the same vibe. And by the way, I'm not done evolving my wardrobe. I still have a lot of experimentation and evolving to do, but the point is it's a much slower, more relaxing process. It doesn't feel as frantic or anxiety-inducing or wasteful. So enough preamble, let's get into it. I literally have a 5-point plan for developing personal style, and I'm going to take you through step by step. Step 1 of this plan is to pick a lifestyle. Now that lifestyle can be anything from streetwear to goth to prep to skater to continental European, whatever you want to call it. Go find some lifestyle that's out there. A good way to do this is watching a movie, finding a character whose vibe you really connect with. And the reason we start here is not to cut out the originality of it. It's just that the legwork has already been done to create these looks, often over decades. And so there's already kind of a dress code, and you don't have to start from square one. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just jump in and assimilate some of these dress codes and just know that you're going to be building out from them over time. You're not going to have to stay stuck there. It's just a great jumping off point. Step 2 is going to be to pick a pant and shoe that go with this lifestyle. The reason I say start with pants and shoes is that you can wear them over and over again, and there's a lot more re-wear value in them. You can wear them 7 days a week and just switch up the top, and no one would really care or notice. So this is just a simple money-saving technique. If you buy a good versatile pair of shoes and a good versatile pair of pants, it'll carry you through a lot of outfits. So let's say you picked grunge or alternative. A good shoe for that might be like a Doc Marten classic boot, right? Like the 1460. And then maybe a pant that goes with that lifestyle is like one pair of faded Levi's vintage blue jeans with some holes in the knees or something like that. Say you picked streetwear as your lifestyle. Maybe you'd go with some Nike Dunks and like some wide fit cargo pants. By the way, it helps to stick with black or neutral colors to start, just because you'll be able to get a lot more wears out of those. Like you might not want to wear a teal pant 7 days a week. It's much easier when you're starting off building your wardrobe just to get your pant and shoe nice and muted and versatile, and then just have fun up top with colors and stuff like that. And you can switch it up later. I'm just trying to get you into as many outfits as soon as possible. Also, going with a more plain, classic shoe would really help. So like I said, with maybe an alt style, you'd go with like a Doc Marten. Say you're going with a heritage style, maybe you go with like a Red Wing boot. Something that's got a little bit of history behind the brand. Something that has been done for decades, you know, maybe even just a Converse All-Star or a pair of Vans if you're into skating. Stuff like that that has some heritage, has some history. You know it's gonna work. You've seen a lot of other people do it. It's a safe bet. Later on, again, we can branch into more interesting options. Step 3 is gonna be to nail your basics up top. Basics would be things like plain t-shirts, plain hoodies or sweaters or waffle knit thermals. But basics aren't as basic as they sound. The little details can make a lot of difference. Say you had a more like alternative style. Maybe your basic might even be like a kind of shredded t-shirt, you know? Whereas a basic for a guy that's doing a classic Americana style, he might just want a nice, plain, really well-fitted crew neck shirt. And then a guy who's doing a more streetwear style, he might take that same white shirt, but buy it oversized so that it hits almost down to the elbow. There's a lot of different vibes you can create. There's a lot of different brands out there, and you're gonna have to do some research yourself to see which brands make the basics that you love the most, and it's worth taking the time to do that research. The point of getting your basics nailed down is that it just takes a lot of the guesswork out of getting dressed in the morning. You can just kind of throw them on. They're so simple that they'll just kind of go with everything. So really at this point, we already have some very minimal outfits nailed down. You could walk out the door in these. You've got your pants, your shoes, and your plain tops. You could really head right out in these. But we want to make the outfits more interesting, which brings us to step 4, which is what I would call interest pieces. And this is where it gets really fun. Some people might call these statement pieces, but I just call them interest pieces because not everybody likes to make a statement. Some people like to be more subtle, some people like to be loud and bold and eccentric, but the point of an interest piece is that it just has something going on beyond the basic nature of it. So whereas your basics might have you in a simple white or gray tee, an interest piece might be like a printed hoodie that you throw on over that, or a printed shirt, something with a pattern on it, something with an embroidery, maybe even a pair of like really thrashed jeans that has a super interesting look to them, and you wouldn't just read as a basic. It's anything that just kind of catches the eye, adds a little something to the outfit. I would also lump accessories in with this. So there's all kinds of accessories out there, and that's actually probably one of the most fun parts of getting dressed because you can do little things like custom pendants. You know, my other pendant is a little piece of jade that I like to wear sometimes when I'm wearing black. And then today, if I go like more silver, I'll throw on the dog tag. Now you have your foundation down from parts 1 through 3. You've got your vibe, you've got your pants and shoes, you've got your basics, and now you just kind of slowly experiment. I would recommend going to your local thrift store, going to any secondhand stores in your area, because that's where you're likely to find the most unique, interesting pieces that are maybe one of a kind. Go online to places like eBay or Depop, and honestly just have fun experimenting. That's why I like the thrift so much, because you can get a large volume of things to bring home and try out with all kinds of different outfits, and then you can just resell or redonate the things that you don't want. And that brings us to the final part of my 5-point style plan. This is the part called remixing, and this is the part that lasts your entire life and can be very rewarding. The reason I call it remixing is that you're getting into the very DNA of the lifestyle that you started with, and you're recoding it and rearranging it. So say, for example, you started off with a goth vibe, but over time, you notice that a lot of preppy styles really resonate with you, and maybe you like the clash, you like that those are kind of two very different lifestyles. Well, maybe over time, you find a way to integrate more things like, you know, say a cardigan into your goth style. So maybe you've got some like ripped tights with a cardigan and you're doing this weird goth preppy clash. Or maybe it's something a little more subtle. Maybe you just blend prep with classic Americana, which are a little more related to one another, right? But you put your own twist on it. It doesn't even have to be just mashing two lifestyles together. It can be whatever you want. It can be, oh, I noticed these having really edgy accessories and pairing that with something that's a little more muted is kind of my thing. Or maybe I noticed that little pops of color are my thing, and then I used to dress all black, but now I have little pops of color. Whatever that thing is, you just incorporate that, again, experiment, remix, and just find your own DNA. And this is where things start to get really, really personal. This takes time, but I am confident that if you apply these steps, you'll be well on your way to developing your own personal style, saving a lot of time and money, and having a very rewarding wardrobe. As always, please like and subscribe. Please support me however you can, because the more support I get, the more videos I'm gonna make. As it is though, I'll be dropping one every single Monday, so stay tuned for the next. I hope you got a lot from this video. Let me know what you'd like to see more of down in the comments, and take care.